And Katie's back with another look at the chilly forecast.
Yes, it is a chilly forecast. Today's highs are well below average. We only get you to the low 50s this afternoon, and we are going to see some rebound, but then we see another hit on the thermometer all over again. So a couple of fronts coming through, and that's the reason for it. So we'll get you right on outside. We'll show you storm scan and get a sense of what's happening at the moment. Not much to tell you about. There is eventually going to be a new front, but it is taking its time to get here. It really doesn't move in until Saturday. So actually as early as overnight Friday, but generally it's a Saturday event for our area anyway. So that'll be the next change maker, and we'll have the opportunity, at least for now, courtesy of high pressure, to start moderating up on the thermometer. We don't really get very far with that here today, however, since we just had the cold front cross through. Wind speeds as it currently stand are out of the northwest, anywhere from 10 to 15 or so miles per hour, give or take. It's been just cranking all morning long, however, and now in the afternoon up in the mountains where there's just this little sweet spot up in the higher terrain where there's been some very impressive wind, and that definitely, because it's coming more northwesterly, is going to make it feel that much chillier. We'll talk feels like values in a second, but because the wind starts to ease up later on tonight, you'll have a much better opportunity to see frost form, because you need that as part of the key ingredient, a light wind for frost to settle. Otherwise, it won't really have that chance, but it will tonight once that wind again eases up. So off to the north, really anywhere from Upper Bucks County on north, you've got a freeze warning going into effect again later on tonight. The Poconos had one earlier, and then a frost advisory in this blue shaded area. Now, what you do notice, I think, is who isn't in that frost advisory. Right here in Philadelphia, you don't have the advisory posted tonight. So the more urbanized the community, the lesser threat there is for frost. I'd play it safe personally. I'd just bring your fall mums inside and, you know, play it safe just in case, because sometimes the temperature you read at the airport isn't exactly what you have around the entire city. Taking a look, though, at where you'll end up standing with the thermometer readings early tomorrow morning, I mean, it might as well be winter time with these kinds of values, right? Low to mid 30s at best, generally from the city on north and west. But the further towards the coastline you reside and that you travel, the milder it will be at the onset, since you do get that moderating influence off of the water. Here's what it currently feels like. Pretty darn close to the actual air temperature. But when you start to see the blues showing up on the contour map, again, you know it's feeling chilly. So wind aside, expect that it will feel cool to you. And anytime that wind does blow, it's going to make it feel that much cooler outside. Poor Mount Pocono has been just stuck into well below average territory throughout the entire morning. Just a county or two south here in Bethlehem, we've got that nice bright blue sky, a little bit of patchy cloud cover. It looks like there's still a spider web, even despite yesterday's wind, hanging out on the camera lens here. But we are staying nice and bright and sunny throughout the day. You do not have any wet weather worries whatsoever until we hit late tomorrow night. So even through tomorrow, I don't think you have to worry about any wet weather issues here. It's a great afternoon then. That said, safe for the breeze to enjoy the off season at the shore. Full sunshine overhead. The ocean water temperature is getting cooler, only into the mid 60s by this point. And then we look ahead to the upcoming weekend, and as we had mentioned just before the break in the weekend watch, we've got that next front coming along. Now, I don't think it's going to put a huge damper on the Temple game. There will be a few spotty showers around, and even at kickoff there could be as well, but this isn't going to be the kind of a forecast where you have to have a poncho in the stadium. You know, we're at 60 degrees though at kickoff, so that's better. It's a little bit milder. Don't bank on that for an Eagles game, however. The very next day, even though it's a little later in the afternoon, it's about 10 degrees colder at kickoff, which means behind that frontal boundary, yeah, the sun comes back, but you're going to be dealing with some pretty chilly tailgates. Also, a chilly AIDS walk here in the city, too, on Sunday morning. Now, as we take a look ahead here, there are a lot of ups and downs. Still cooler than average, though, across the board. Normal highs back in the mid 60s, and again, we are not going to end up in that zone anytime soon. So we end up with daytime highs back in the 60s for at least a couple of days, still below average those days, and then another front comes along to knock the temperatures back again. So come Sunday and Monday, like we mentioned, you're right back where you started and having to sort of climb that the hill all over again. So yeah, again, it's below average. I mean, you need a jacket pretty much every day, but there are chillier ones than others.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.